I found something really cool I'd like to share with you guys. One of my favorite artists is Michael Schwab. So, when it comes to illustration, my favorite artist of all time is Drew Struzan. But when it comes to design and graphics, my favorite poster artist is Michael Schwab. And so I got his new book this week, and this is a nice little present to me, from me. Um, I've followed his work for a very long time, and I first discovered him with his national parks posters that he did for California, and that's one here on the front. He did a whole series of these posters for everything from the San Francisco Bay to the Muir Woods and to a variety of different locations in Northern California. And they're so stark and interesting. His posters have always been categorized by this simple stylistic approach. Simple colors, basic shapes, but very interesting and unique detail. So I love the bold choices that he would make with his designs. And what I love about his book is he kind of goes through his career, but he kind of shows his process too. So let's pick something here. He shows his drawings and how he develops his artwork. To me, I'm really drawn to this kind of work as a vector artist, but you can tell that he's been doing this long enough that this was done well before working in the computer. He works in a normal studio, works with a drafting table, and I've seen interviews where he talks about his process, and it's all done good old-fashioned pencil and paper, and it's converted into black stencils, which are then screen printed. And that's another really cool thing is the way he simplifies his art to make these really bold decisions with the color and the shape. Now, me personally, I try to do that with my vector art. I still follow that process. I do my own drawing, but then I do the conversion into vector with the pen tool. These, on the other hand, are still handcrafted, and I just love that. So he's a big inspiration to a lot of artists who follow this kind of work and are interested in making those bold design choices. I've also seen some things where he talks about being inspired by the old uh, travel poster artists, mid-century poster design. And I think what's cool about that is definitely an art form that was inspired by the printing process. And I think that's where it all kind of comes together for me, where the printing dictates what kind of art you can create, which then forces the artist to make choices creatively to make the most of what they've got. And I think that's a really important attribute that happens to a lot of, well, to the great art is artists figure out a way to adapt between the needs of the message, the art you're trying to convey, and the technology to produce it, or in this case, to reproduce it through printing. And so that is a challenge, a creative challenge that really helps artists shine, I think. And Michael Schwab is definitely one of those that does it well. Figured out a way to take the limitation, you could say, of the printing process, but turn it into something special. And so sometimes you might think as an artist, hey, we don't need rules, we do what we want. Actually, it's good to have boundaries. Those boundaries help define the edges and tell you where to work and what to do, and you make the most of what you can do. And that has turned into a lot of really awesome, interesting things. So this book, it's not cheap, I'll admit it. But for me, it's worth it to just devour it and sit and look at a master at work. I am a sucker for books. And so if you can find it, I'll put a link in the video to Michael Schwab's website and you can check out his work. A great artist, cool dude. Never met him, but admire what he does. And so if you want to learn how to do something similar, take a look, see if you can follow what he does and make your own. All right, see you around.